What's up, guys, and welcome to another episode of the Becoming Roy podcast. I'm your host, Roy, and this show exists to help people discover who it is that they were made to be. I do that by sharing the little bit that I know, by sharing the journey that I'm on of becoming who it is I feel I'm made to be, and by having conversations with people that are living inspired lives. And in today's episode 24, I'm going to be sharing the singular most important thing that you need to do, the prereq of wanting to be helpful to anyone. If you want to be impactful or helpful or lead anyone or do anything meaningful for anyone else outside of yourself, there's one thing you have to do, and that's what I'm going to be talking about today. But before I get into that, I want to give a little update, the journey that I'm on. I am 80 days away from race day, and training is not going super great, kind of. I've had a foot injury, so I haven't been able to do a lot of runs, but I have been playing a lot of basketball. And according to my Whoop and some of the metrics, the basketball sessions have been super comparable to easy runs and to tempo runs based on my heart rate and where the zone's at. So my aerobic base is definitely growing, so that's good. I need to get back to my long races because I've only done 2 long runs, so definitely I'm a little worried. And full transparency, I don't really want to share these kinds of pieces of the journey because they're failures. They are dropped balls. They're not ideal. I am behind on training. I'm doing stuff, but I'm not doing everything I need to be doing, and that is a little embarrassing. Not really embarrassing. It's just it's like, come on, do what you said you're going to do. So anyways, that's where I'm at with the marathon prep, 80 days from the time that this is being recorded. I think it's July 29th. I'm not really sure. Another update is I'm pretty behind also on my road to 100 podcast episodes by June of 2027. I need to be doing about a podcast a week. And I'm at about... No, I need to be doing 6 podcast episodes a week, and I am about at a podcast a week. Now, I'm in my apartment right now, and so I'm trying to lower the barrier of entry even a little bit more, and I'm going to be doing still in the studio some because I think it looks super crisp and super clean, but I'm going to be doing episodes here so that I can start cranking. I'm even kind of flirting with the idea of doing a month of podcasts, or seeing how long I can do a podcast every single day. And what's cool about doing a podcast, people ask me, actually nobody asks me, I ask myself sometimes, what are you going to talk about? How do you know what you want to talk about? How do you have anything of substance of worth saying? Well, for me, honestly, it pushes me to grow and it pushes me to learn. And so today's episode is based off of, I'll share it in a little bit. I'm actually in an interview process to volunteer with an organization here in Kansas City that I super admire. I'm not going to share too much about the organization right now. Maybe in the future I will. But as I pursue different ventures and things that I feel just make me come alive, it's like a mentorship program. So I would be a mentor for a teenager, which is super dope. But I heard someone say this recently where it's you need to go and experience more things because the more things you experience, the more you have to offer. And that's a little bit my mindset, right? As I'm living life and as I'm trying to do a podcast, because it's I don't really have much to offer unless I'm putting myself out there, unless I'm engaging in community events, if I'm learning and reading books and studying up. I've been doing a lot of studying on just biology and physiology and the way our body works and nutrition and how important things are. It's really cool. And selfishly it's cool because I'm learning and I'm having a direct impact on things that I'm pursuing, like my physical health, like my mental health. And I'm not talking necessarily just being grateful and getting outside, but I mean the chemistry, the neuroplasticity of our brain. It's super fascinating. I recommend you starting a podcast because all I'm doing is working on my communication skills and I'm learning and hopefully helping somebody. So all of that to say, I'm in my apartment. This is going to be a setup. Let me know what you think. It's kind of dope. I know you can't really see because I have such a beautiful lens that gives me great bokeh, but whatever. This is a setup for now. Let me know if you like these episodes. If not, I'll just keep making them regardless of how you enjoy the visuals of them. Okay. Anyways, I'm going to hop into today's episode, which again is the one thing you need to do before you're going to help anybody. The prereq to helping people is helping yourself. Going to say that again. The prereq to helping anybody is helping yourself. Now, I want most of you have probably been on a plane, and if you have not been on a plane, every single flight that you get on, there's a very boring safety spiel before you take off. I say boring, it is boring, but it's also very important. And I say a bunch of stuff, and most people, myself included, kind of just tune out for this. But one thing that they say in this safety spiel is that in case of emergency, an oxygen mask is going to release, and you put it on. They tell you how to put it on, and then they say if you are going to help someone else before helping anyone else put their oxygen mask on, be sure to put your oxygen mask on first. Now, I don't know exactly why they say that, but I can imagine if you're losing oxygen, then it's not good for your brain. It's not good for all these different things. And how can you help somebody if you are not in a position to help them? Let that sink in. I mean, honestly, I should really just end the podcast right here, right now, because that's the whole thing. And so what does that mean for you? And who is this for? This is for, I mean, some of you know clearly that you want to help people. This is for you. And I actually want to implore you to use the health metrics that I'm using. Like, if you don't know, then just do what I'm doing. And all that I'm doing is I have 6 categories for health. Okay, I have my physical health. That is actually my weight. It is my aerobic base. I mean, I'm kind of training for things like I want to be able to say I'm an athlete. So I'm treating myself as an athlete. So I'm monitoring my VO2 max, and I'm monitoring my body fat percentage. And like, these are metrics that I highly value because of the things I'm trying to do. That doesn't necessarily mean you need to do those things. Like, maybe you really are just wanting to be the best mother and the best father, the best teacher. Then physically healthy could just mean you're active and you go for a walk in the morning or in the evening. Like, it could be that low level. It doesn't need to be, I can run a 5-minute mile. Like, it doesn't need to be that, but just being mindful of our physical health. Okay. The other buckets of health that I have is I have my mental health. And so this is where I do journal. This is where I do practice gratitude. This is where I do spend time with my friends. So that way, you know what I'm saying? When I do get sad, when I do feel anxious, when I do feel these things, I'm actively exercising this muscle so I can be healthy. Okay. So I got physical, I got mental. I'm actually going to list them all really quick. I got spiritual. Okay. Something that I value. Maybe you don't value that. That's okay. You can just throw that one out. But if you do value your spirituality, are you reading your Bible? If you subscribe to Christianity, are you praying? Are you abiding in the vine? Like, are you doing the things that Christians are supposed to do? I know a lot of people that say they're Christians, that say they maybe they do go to church, but I never hear them talk about God. Like, they probably haven't read their Bible. They aren't engaging in the things that the spiritual disciplines that Christ calls us to. And you know what? There have been many times in many stints where I was that guy, where I was the so-called Christian, where I showed up to church, where I, you know what I'm saying, said I am these things, but I haven't read my Bible and I haven't been praying. Like, I have been guilty of that. And I think there is an alarming number of people that say they're Christians that don't do anything that Christians do. or are supposed to do according to the Bible. So physical health, mental health, spiritual health. Okay. I've got my financial health. Just the other week, I did a test run of a no spend week where a couple of coworkers and we just said to each other that we were not eating out once the entire week. And so guess what? I packed my lunch. I made a grocery list, like easy ways, canceling subscriptions so that way you're not unnecessarily paying for things. Or maybe you just don't need the Peacock subscription. Maybe you don't need the Netflix subscription, whatever it is, like cutting money and saving money. And it's not necessarily about, oh, don't spend. It's more about being responsible. Let's be responsible with our money. So I got physical health. I've got mental health. I've got spiritual health. I've got financial health. Okay. Relational health. It's my next bucket. And that is the relationship that I have with my friends. Okay. When I'm done recording this podcast, I'm going to put some shorts on. I'm going to go meet up with my boys and we're going to go hoop. Okay. That actually is relationally healthy because I'm making time to be with friends. Okay. And it's really important, if you're a young man listening to this, that you have other young men friends. Okay. I feel like that should be obvious, but we need to be around that. And same for young women. You need to be around other young women because there's just something that happens when I can lean on my brother and when you as a lady can lean on your sister or lean on, you know what I'm saying, maybe someone a little bit older than you. But it's like girls can relate to girls in certain ways and guys can relate to guys in certain ways. So I think it's very, 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 very important that you have that kind of meaningful relationship. So that might mean joining a small group. That might mean just putting yourself out there for friendship. But we need friends. And I just want to reiterate and to remind that these things are all for helping ourselves. We have to help ourselves because when I'm helping myself, I can actually have a place to actually give from. Okay. And then the last bucket of health that for the metrics that I use for my own life is my vocational health. And that just means I've had to leave jobs that were not conducive to my health. And I think about a job that I had a couple of years ago. Gosh, I wasn't getting paid a lot. I had the worst management. It was just, I dreaded going. It was a low-key, a toxic workplace. And that just wasn't conducive to a healthy lifestyle. So I had to get another job. And that sucks, but sometimes that's just the way it goes. Okay? And what it looks like for me now, that I have a job that I do, that it's a healthy work environment. I have insurance. I don't need to worry about going to the doctor if I want to go to the doctor. Like, they pay me fairly. There's flexibility. There's benefits. I have a great boss and I have great coworkers. Like, now I'm in a healthy work environment. But now what vocational health looks like for me is, am I actually taking my job serious? And am I putting my best foot forward? And am I really like growing? Because I'm fortunate enough that my job is in the realm of media. So I get to make videos and I get to come up with stories and tell stories and do communications. And so it's like, okay, that's basically what I want to do here on this podcast. So I just is doing the thing serious, taking your job serious. Now, I don't know if what I'm about to say applies to everybody, but for anyone that subscribes to Christianity, I think we're actually we are mandated to do everything unto the Lord. And so me, when I'm being lazy at work and I'm missing deadlines and I'm not putting my best effort in, I think that's actually me not giving God my best work. I don't know if non-believers have to subscribe to that, but whatever, that's a different conversation. Okay, so those are the areas of health. Okay, physically, mentally, spiritually, relationally, financially, and vocationally. Okay? 6 categories to break it down if you need some tangibles. And you know what? I can't believe I'm about to say this. If you want help with pursuing health, if you want help in these areas, actually shoot me a message. Let's actually talk. Now, I say it's crazy because I have no credentials. I don't have much of a track record other than my own life. And my life is actually, I'm very, very, very far from where I want to be. But like I mentioned early on in this episode, I'm in the process of volunteering with this nonprofit mentorship program here in Kansas City. And they're just asked in the interview, they're asking me different questions, asking questions about me. And one of the questions that they asked was well, why do you feel like what do you feel like you have to give? And it was like, why now? Like, why are you wanting to do this right now? What in your life is going well that you feel like you're in a position to help somebody else, to help a teenager? And it made me think, and I gave them my answer, and what it really boiled down to, it's like, I've been doing the work that nobody sees on me. I've been working to be healthy physically, mentally, spiritually, relationally, financially, and vocationally. And I feel like I'm in a place where it's like, okay, like, I'm in a place where I can actually give. Now, this is really big. This is really big, and this is something I don't want you to miss. Because for a long time, it was, I don't really have anything to give, so I'm not going to give anything. But, like, you have to make it work for you. Because you have something to give. Now, I'm not rich. I don't make a dime from this podcast yet. I make a dime. I don't make any money from helping or coaching people yet. It's really cool. I'm excited to watch this in 2, 3, 4, 5 years when I am helping people at a larger scale and I can make money. But I say that because for a long time, actually still, I have a dream to be generous financially, where I can actually give money and truly help people in a place of finances. Right now, I don't have a lot of money to give, But what I do have is time. And what I do have is health. Now, obviously, I'm not saying I'm the embodiment of health, and I'm on a journey, and I'm sharing that journey with you. But I've done the sum of the healing from heartbreak and from church hurt and from these different things where it's like, okay, like, yeah, I feel like I'm in a place where I actually have something to offer somebody. And it's kind of just stability a little bit. Now, don't hear what I'm not saying, because there's a lot of ways that you could take this where comfort isn't good and da-da-da-da-da, whatever. But that's the main point. And it makes me think of, I'll never forget, of someone that I listen to often to this day. I've been listening to, this is a pastor I've been listening to for over a decade. And I remember him telling the story, long story, but the principal gist of the story is like, if you're going to lead somebody somewhere, you have to like have gone there first. And for me personally, it is my dream, my biggest dream, to help people become who it is that they feel they're made to become, who it is that God has made them to be. And I'm going to do that by sharing the little bit that I know and by sharing my journey. And so my hope and my prayer is that you can see me and you can do the thing, whatever your thing is. But the point of this whole show, this whole episode, is that you have to put the oxygen mask on yourself first. You have to take care of you first. I'm sick and tired of seeing leaders in positional leaders have opportunity to help people, but they have not done the work themselves. You actually are doing more harm than good, especially when you're in a place of positional leadership where people are looking to you because of a title that you have. So do the work. Take care of yourself. This is self-love. This is self-care. Okay? Now, again, don't hear what I'm not saying, because I don't love the stigma of self-care, and I don't love the stigma of self-love, because a lot of it is selfish and conceited. But there is a legitimate sentiment of caring for yourself, of loving yourself, unto caring for others, unto loving others. So my hope, my prayer, my deepest earnest desire for you listening is that you take you serious. You take you serious, and that you learn and realize and understand and live out this truth that you are worth taking care of yourself. And that the people that you're trying to help are actually dependent on you being healthy for you. And no one's going to see it. No one's going to see the work. You're not going to be paraded in the streets for doing the hard work of working through insecurities and through doubts and through self-doubt, through imposter syndrome. No one's going to parade you for overcoming those things. Unfortunately, I wish that happened, but that's not how it works. But people are dependent on you. People, like, there's something inside of you. I say this all the time. There's something inside of you that somebody needs, and that gift is a little bit contingent on you being the best version of you, being the healthiest version of you. So that's all I have for you guys today. I hope you hear the heart. I've been kind of teetering on what to talk about for the last couple of days, but I have to just push through and just get podcasts going, because I have, this is episode 24. I have another 76 to go in like 9 months. So control what you can control. Make it a great day, and I will see you on the next one.